What did I do last night? My head is pounding. I feel like I drank a mixer of the bottom of a sewage drain mixed with chemical cleaner laced with LSD. I feel lucky to be alive right now. No, seriously, guys. I gotta figure out what this is. What did I do last night?
Were you out river dancing all night again?
What? No. I was watching something. I was actually trying to do my job for once, looking for a show to watch, and I remember finding something. What was it? It was got
a dork in the house. So we're chilling on this planet. Aliens on a mission. Not easy doing homework. We're saving the world is our mission. We got dogs and they're freaking out the planet. Gotta act now before they cause a nasty panic.
Are you sure that you're lucky to be alive?
Now that you bring it up, I have no idea. Hey, Al, you know that sewage drink that I mentioned?
What about it?
I'm gonna need another one. Like, stats. So let's talk about this. Dork Hunters from Outer Space is one of those shows from a quirky, long-forgotten time called the 2000s decade. Remember that? We used to make fun of it, calling it the worst decade in history. Then the 2010s decided to blow up in our face, and the 2020s decided to finish the job. Because it's my job, I often go looking for obscure gems from previous years, let's call them. Whether it be looking on listicles about these random shows you couldn't believe exist, or just scrolling through the list of cartoons on Wikipedia. And sometimes a show strikes my interest by the title alone. Tell me, how could you ignore a show called Dork Hunters from Outer Space? It's up there with The Day My Butt Went Psycho. The answer must be more obvious than I thought, though, because this show came out in 2008, and I'm the first person in history who's ever mentioned it. I'm also the first person in history who's ever watched it and lived. Actually, I'm not sure that this thing even exists. I could be making it up entirely. For all you know, I am. Like, it really does sound like something that I had a fever dream of when I got sick last year.
Get down here, woman. Now!
Sir, okay.
A fever dream that I'm still having. I could find no information on this show, period. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. It came out in 2008, it's on Amazon, and no one seems to like it. That is all I know. Related shows, Mickey Mouse. You know what? Yes, absolutely. My favorite thing about this show is that it gives me a headache. Maybe it's from the art style, because, it really hurts my eyes. Maybe it's just the shrooms, but these washed out color palettes just do not work. If I had to describe the art style, I would call it blobby. You can definitely make out what everything is, but they all just run together in this visual mess. It's like I'm watching a Salvador Dali painting, and it's not pleasant. It's also animated in 3 frames per second. But the bigger issue here is that they use inverted outlines. You know how, in a real cartoon, characters have an outline that's a darker color? They're usually black, but sometimes shows will go the extra mile and have colored outlines. But in, every single circumstance that I have ever seen, the outlines are usually darker than the interior colors. And there's a reason for that. It's because when you don't do that, everything blurs together. I feel like I'm staring at a Magic Eye poster. But what really gives me that good old-fashioned migraine is the audio. Remember Johnny Test? Big hit, everyone loved it, lasted 1 billion seasons, and now even has a remake that is soaking in the ratings, and becoming a beloved classic revival alongside Friendship is Magic and DuckTales. Johnny Test was famous for its innovation, pioneering the whip crack technique. The whip crack technique is when each jerky movement was disguised by the exact same sound effect, the whip crack, which was sometimes used more than 100 times per episode. Dork Hunters from Outer Space, it's a great name, shut up, builds on this. Every single second of the show is filled in with another random, obnoxious sound effect. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. Every single second. Every single second. Every single second. Every single second.
Not just any microgalaxy.
Every single second. I was hungover by minute 15, I think. Barring any, sarcasm or anything, this is the most annoying gimmick I have ever seen in any show that I have ever covered. Not only is it the most annoying thing, it continually takes you out of whatever possible experience or flow you could have had. The first part of the first episode is about a basketball game, right? And when they leave, one of the most prominent sound effects that we get is that of a bowling strike. Now, I haven't been a professional athlete for like 30 years at this point, but I still know that you don't get bowling strikes in a game of basketball. It becomes a distraction like my hands, which have turned blue, because there's no distinction between which sounds are diegetic and non-diegetic. During the fire drill scene, we get the sound of a crowd gasping.
Trouble!
Trouble?
There is actually a crowd in this scene. So, is the crowd the thing that's making that noise, or is it just a part of the stupid gimmick? If the crowd is making the noise, why would they be doing this? I know just as much as I know about these weird things on the edge of my palms. I have no idea why I never noticed these things before. Like its forebearer Johnny Test, the sound effects are a clever crutch. Because the voice acting is so terrible, they're able to code over with these random sound effects. Because the people voicing these characters cannot emote, you just play the sound effect of someone doing a fangirl scream, and then you know that they're excited, even though the voice actors have no inflections, and the animation doesn't animate. That alone would make this the most nonsensical show that I have ever seen. But let's put all of that aside. What is Dork Hunters from Outer Space actually about?
I have no idea!
Why are you asking me? Why would you have me undertake such a task as to explain this show to you? I have no answers. You know what? Why don't you tell me what this show is about? Yes, I am the one who watched the show, but I guarantee you, it does not mean that I have more information about the show than you do. Seriously, in the comments, just make something up. Make anything up about what this show is about, because I guarantee you, it will make more sense than what actually happens. So, Dork Hunters from Outer Space, according to IMDb at least, is about 5 high schoolers fighting aliens, called dorks.
Dorks.
Because the dorks have these things called microgalaxies, and the dork hunters want to get the microgalaxies from the dorks, because the microgalaxies are explosives. Yeah, you know what? Yes. Yes! That makes perfect sense. I will hear no arguments to the contrary. But then the show starts to lose me when you come across the woman who is being bossed around by her talking evil chihuahua. And then you learn that the mission control is a goldfish who cannot tell the difference between George Washington and Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, which president are you supposed to be? This is a tough one, Michiganer. I got it! George Washington!
Maybe this show is supposed to be a sequel to My Goldfish is Evil. That's a trip for another day, though. Mixing these two shows with the alcohol you need to get through them could prove to be fatal. So, the kids are from Earth and fighting off aliens.
Dorks.
Yes, fighting off dorks. So, like most humans, one of them has a frog tongue and an appetite for flies, and another one has a cyborg bionic eye. What do you mean you don't have those? Of course you do! I know we don't all go talking about them in public, but it's not really something that anyone should be ashamed about. Be true to yourself. It's totally natural for a human to have a frog tongue and stick to walls. The, appetite for bugs, though, you might want to keep that one under wraps. It's pretty gross. Also, this is just a small little nitpick with the show, but I have no idea who anyone is. I don't think any single one of the characters has ever said another character's name throughout the entire first episode. But that's alright. Great characters like Katara and Sokka and Zuko don't need names. Just call them Water Girl and Boomerang Man and Hothead. This show has more important uses for dialogue than establishing vital information.
Here, it ain't about the hunk, it's about the dunk.
Did I mention that the show was made in 2008?
Get your heart out, Tony Hawk!
Did I mention that the show was passé and behind the times for 2008?
I'm gonna toss my Gatorade.
Excuse me, what?
I'm gonna toss my Gatorade.
Okay, so you're going to wash your Gatorade. Can you do me a favor? Tell me which drugs made that sound like a good idea.
Thought we were playing basketball, not stench ball.
Sick burn! No, really, you should be an insult comedian. I could see you going on tours with Triumph, traveling around the world and making fame and fortune with that kind of sharp, in-the-moment wit. Stench ball. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the next big thing here. I just know it. Either that or I'm experiencing delusions again. Could be either or, to be honest with you. Honestly, I could keep going on, but like any random line of dialogue from the show is on this level. I don't even know if the show is in English at times. It feels like a fan dub of itself. Speaking of which...
Get down, you woman! Now!
Sir, okay.
I'm not questioning it. I don't see why you should be questioning it. I would see why I should be questioning it, but after the goldfish being the commander of the maybe human teenagers arguing with an aquatic toy, I have no idea where I was going with this sentence. Like, absolutely none. I don't know if there was a point or a joke or anything. I have no clue. When Totally Spies with its laser mirror bullshit makes more sense than the basic setup of your show, I think you have a problem.
We had a close encounter of the dork kind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hate it when I almost miss reruns of Ed, Edd n Eddy myself. So this is one of those shows that I only watched one episode of, because doing any more would probably be hazardous to my health. So literally everything that you've seen so far is from the same 22-minute block of content. All of it.
Nobody messes with my little dork hunter when I'm around.
And I feel like, even with that, I've only barely scratched the surface. Trying to figure out what the show is about brings me back to my youth, specifically Latin class, because figuring out this plot is like translating a dead language. So they find out that a referee at a basketball game is an alien. Dork! Yes, a dork from outer space. And the only way that you know if someone is a dork is because they have horrendous breath. If you come across someone with halitosis, they're probably an alien. Best to assume so. But not just any bad breath, though. Breath so bad that it'll make you want to wash your Gatorade. So, after they think they've got their eyes on a dork, our group of dork hunters follow him outside. And that's where we learn that the Chihuahua is evil, I think. It doesn't really do anything for the entire episode, but it is definitely, probably, maybe evil. Maybe it's the jackass that tried to cancel Speedy Gonzales. I don't know. The dork hunters call up their fish to tell them why they're staying out late, which requires them to break into a mall, where they just, like, shoot the dorks and just, like, fucking kill them with no remorse. They look like real people. They even talk like people and have, like, legitimate, actual personalities. But no, the death penalty is definitely applicable here, without trial. And as the audience, we don't really have any context as to why they're evil or anything. They could just be in disguise as humans to be on vacation. Of course, we know that they're evil because of this.
You gonna eat those?
Already did.
Oh, chocolatey.
Wait, no, that's wrong. No, we know that they're evil because the referee guy has a microgalaxy that would cause the universe to explode. Like its cosmic nitroglycerin, I guess. Eat your heart out, Rick Sanchez. I don't know why he would want that, but he seems to want it pretty badly.
I drop this and we all go boom.
Seems like that would upset his dinner plans if he were to do that. And then the referee dork just poofs. I don't know why he couldn't do that before, but you know what I always say. Writing is optional when it comes to writing.
Huh? I didn't know they could do that.
Absolutely understandable for a dork hunter to not know. But yeah, dorks can teleport. They can also breathe fire, turn invisible, and propose to their true love on leap days. And whatever else the show wants to pull out of its ass. So, for the next leg of the episode, half the dork hunters try to get out of school early, but they can't, because the Chihuahua's person thing is the principal, and the principal might be a dork herself. I don't know, I don't care, and neither do you. The dork hunters keep trying to get out of school because I have no idea. The mall's not going anywhere, and the dork left completely. They could be literally anywhere. But the dork hunters do manage to break out of school using holograms. Of course, it's a genius plan! Unless there's a fire alarm because the holograms don't move.
Now they've gone too far. This time we're talking expulsion!
Yes, Superintendent, I had to expel these 3 students for skipping class. Yes, I know that's only worthy of a suspension, but you don't get it. They used holograms! What do you mean I'm fired? You don't understand, Superintendent. I need this job, or else my Chihuahua is going to make me bow down to him again, and I can't have that. No, I have not been in the steamed hams again. Stop asking.
You have the blueprints, right, Nikki?
Does Lindsay Lohan have blonde hair?
You know, I'm not sure if it's these guys or the aliens that are truly the dorks. Just saying. Maybe the true dorks are the friends we made along the way.
Odds are our dork is inside the sporting goods store.
How do you know that? So, because the dork is absolutely 100% in the sporting goods store, they decide that the only way into the place is through the air vents of a public mall, one that is open to the public. So then they aim a gun at this guy whose only crime is holding a micro-galaxy. But no, let's hold this guy up at gunpoint. He changes into his alien form for no real reason, and then he runs out into public. And this secret group of dork hunters goes running through the mall with fucking guns. Maybe I was wrong to assume that this is like literally any show in which the magic or science fiction stuff was hidden out of public eye. Nah, that shit's too cliche. We're smart. We gotta subvert all that stuff. Like having a plot. Lip syncing is for dorks.
Nice catch, Brain Boy!
Oh, I guess I was wrong. The show did give us a character name. Brain Boy is my favorite character.
You get the galaxy?
Sure did, Chief. And we've just sent it off to Snurp.
The fuck is Snurp? You know what? Snurp this. I could keep going, but what point would that...
I have produced the drink that you have requested.
And not a moment too soon. Thank you. Here's to forgetting that this episode ever happened. I see fairies now. Please call 911. Hey, you've reached the end of the video. The names scrolling by right now are of all the wonderful patrons who donated to help keep this channel alive. If you'd like your name in the credits, head on over and make a donation yourself. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for exclusive content and previews of my upcoming videos. I've also got a forum where you can discuss anything that has to do with my content and connect with the rest of the community. To find anything that I mentioned, just visit my link tree in the description down below. Lastly, be sure to subscribe, comment, and share this video with your friends. Oh, and thanks for watching.